There is something about today and the end of the legislative session that doesn't feel like an exclamation point for DeSantis 2024. This feels like as successful as the session itself might have been, everything that happened sort of surrounding it really seemed to deflate the DeSantis presidential balloon a little bit. How do they feel in Tallahassee?
Right now, I think they're hoping to use this as a bit of a reset because obviously Governor DeSantis has had a bad couple months. Trump's attacked him, almost daily at times. His poll numbers have tanked, but he has gotten, as you just mentioned, there's some really big wins, and essentially his entire agenda has been given to him by a relatively compliant Republican legislature here. So what we're going to see, I think, over the next few weeks is DeSantis going across the state, doing high-profile bill signings and sort of touting his agenda in a bit of a victory lap, an in-state victory lap leading up to probably an early June presidential launch, which I think everyone thinks is still coming. And they're hoping to sort of recapture that momentum and reset a little bit using the agenda that the Republican legislature here in Tallahassee has sort of just handed him.
That's interesting in some ways, do almost like a one last Florida tour before he hits the national trail.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think he's going to be doing things like bill signings and things out of state, but I do think there's going to be a healthy dose of sort of the optics that brought DeSantis to the national dance, and there's going to be a lot of culture war talk and some of him getting back to his comfort zone as he explains his agenda to his recently passed agenda to Florida voters and those beyond. I mean, a lot of those press conferences, in state or not, a lot of national attention.
I know you've been talking to some Florida legislatures on the Republican side of the aisle. At times they said they had been exhausted by all of this, that this session sort of, and I know some of them are fearing that this Disney stuff may only be the beginning, right, not the end on that stuff. Has he lost luster with that group of folks, or are they, complaining, but like, hey, no, they're still going to rally around their guy?
I mean, luster is subjective. I mean, he certainly has luster in the sense of power. I mean, no one will get in his way here. I do think there are members who, as I've mentioned previously, who aren't probably as high on him as they were before this session and sort of got that DeSantis fatigue. But I think overall, at the end of the day, if we tally up when the state level lawmakers here start making endorsements, I still think DeSantis is gonna certainly run the legislature. He's got a veto pen upcoming, which I think everyone's aware of. So I think folks are either going to sit on the sideline or start backing him to make sure they get all their local community grants and stuff staying in the budget.
You don't think Susie Wiles has another trick up her sleeve with the state legislature, like she did with the congressional delegation?
I think there's a real chance Trump picks some off. I don't think it's going to be a clean sweep, but I don't think DeSantis has necessarily lost the legislature. There's going to be pockets of it, and it's there's a whole bunch of Republicans here and a whole bunch of politically ambitious people that want stuff, and I think Trump will get some. Well,
as you were hinting at, he's going to be governor, worst case scenario, for a bunch more legislative sessions. And some of those guys are going to want him to do stuff. Matt Dixon, who's based in Florida for us, tracking our national political story there. Matt, thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.